what I'm going to do is heat up a bar parker, it's a 25 blade bar parker, and warm it up, and I'm going to actually take a section out of this maxillary occlusion rim and start setting the denture teeth. Again, the occlusion rim is going to be our guide, but we need to make some space for tooth positioning. And so I guess you'd have to say, as we do this, we're making some guesstimations based on the appearance of the occlusion rim that hasn't been removed yet, because we're going to set these teeth with symmetry in mind. So as I see, I can use just a hot blade and section through there, and I'm cutting out an area hopefully large enough to set the central incisor, the lateral incisor, and the canine on one side of the arch, in this case on the right side, or I'm sorry, the left side, and then we'll set the teeth on the opposite side. So just taking a big piece out of this thing, and I know you might say, oh, I've lost all my guides, but I really haven't, because I know where the incisal edge of the tooth is supposed to sit, because I've retained my markings on the cast, and again I'm using the form of the opposite side to help guide my positioning of the teeth. So at this point, a little trick I learned some time ago about arranging teeth is to basically make a little wax root on the denture tooth, and then use that to help set the teeth. Lots of times you'll just see people make a sort of a little block section out of the occlusion rim and set the denture tooth back into a sea of wax, and I find that difficult to manage later on, particularly when you're trying to finally contour the your wax up for the trial denture or wax try-in. And so this is a method of accomplishing that. And again, I just take some base plate wax. Obviously there's all types of base plate waxes, and select the one you like the best. But all I'm doing is just warming up a piece, and you can see I'm going to start to create sort of a little peculiar looking wax root, but I think you'll get the idea once I get it stuck on there what I'm doing with it. Here basically you can see the little wax root that I've stuck on the tooth, and then this gives me a lot of latitude as far as positioning the central incisor. So I'm placing the central incisor, and if you notice I'm trying to get the incisal length correct, and we need to move that down a little bit. So I use this flat plane to help guide me in positioning this tooth, because remember, in the occlusion rim we've established where we want the incisal edge, we've established the length, but we've also established tentatively what we want our posterior, or I should say our occlusal plane to be, anterior posteriorly, and this was established by using a Fox plane. If you're not familiar with it, you can find them, and it allows us to tentatively determine the occlusal plane by paralleling it to the ala tragus. So that's where we are. Remember, ultimately what's going to guide the position of the posterior teeth and the occlusal plane is from the tip of the mandibular canine back to 1/2 to 2/3 the height of the retromolar pad. And as we get to that point, I'll try to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So as you see, I rather quickly was able to place the central incisor. It appears to be in the midline. If you notice, it's also in the same plane as the wax rim that we contoured previously to help establish the position of this tooth. So that's one. So let's see what we do with the lateral incisor. Again, same methodology, just create a little wax root or a little wax tail, whatever you'd like to call it. Again, this assists in the positioning of the denture tooth. This particular wax I'm using is relatively soft and sticky, and it has some advantages. There's also some disadvantages, but at least for what I'm doing at this point, there are some advantages because it's relatively easy to, number one, to get it to adhere to the record base, and number two, to be able to move it back and forth. So again, positioning the tooth, I'm kind of guesstimating as I look to the opposite side where the arch or arc of these teeth are going to be in the setup. We want to have the necks of the teeth in and the incisal edge out toward the occlusal plane. And if you notice, I made the lateral incisor just slightly short of this occlusal plane that we've established, so it's about 1 millimeter short. And in general, in an unworn dentition, this would be considered an aesthetic and an appropriate positioning of the lateral incisor. So again, we're going to do the same thing. Again, you see we're following the arch form and have the tooth position relatively quickly, and we'll go ahead and get the canine. The position of the central incisor guides the entire setup. The position of the canine also will end up guiding the positioning of the posterior teeth. And one of the things that is important to remember is that when you're looking from the anterior view, as you're looking at someone's face, you're not able to see the distal of the canine. So it basically turns the corner. It is the corner of the mouth, and it's something to keep in mind because the more display you have of the distal, the more unaesthetic it appears, the more unnatural it appears, and it gives more of the denture appearance that becomes quite obvious. So positioning the canine is, I can't say it's necessarily tricky, but it's something that you want to pay attention to as you're arranging these maxillary teeth. So again, same process. Make a tail or wax root and position the tooth. I think I removed enough of the wax rim that I'll probably be able to get the tooth to seat in place. Sometimes if you don't trim back enough, you have to trim the wax rim back a little bit more. Again, it's not a big deal because we're again trying to duplicate some symmetry with the opposite side, and so we leave the opposite side intact. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this canine set in the right position and take it from there. So I'm doing the same process as I did before, using the little tail to help position the tooth. We want the incisal edge, or the tip of the canine, to be in the same occlusal plane as the central incisor, and I'm going to take a look at it from the anterior myself, and maybe the lateral needs to be rotated just a little bit. It looks like it's not really in the axis that we'd want it in, so I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and again take a look at it from my point of view and see if that tooth position is reasonable. Again, positioning the canine really helps determine where the posterior teeth are going to begin to be arranged. And so you can take a look. I've kind of got my thumb over it so that the wax itself isn't a distractor, but at least initially this seems like a relatively reasonable positioning of the teeth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack these teeth into place, and then we'll go ahead and move on to setting the opposite side.